Uinta Basin Arts and Special Events coverage on VTV Channel 6 and Strata WebView, made possible by Brian K. Gorham, State Farm Insurance, providing insurance and financial services. Century 21 Parker Real Estate Professionals, The Parker Team, Frida Parker, Angela Walker, and Jennifer Hawkins.
Celebration at Dinosaur National Monument. It's a day to look to the past, enjoy the present, and anticipate our future. On October 4th, 1915, President Woodrow Wilson signed the proclamation that created the original 80-acre Dinosaur National Monument. So it's appropriate that we're here on our 96th birthday to open our new visitor center in the exhibit hall. I'd like to introduce Pam Giuliano. Congressman, she represents Congressman Jim Matheson. He was just sworn in for a sixth term this January, and he represents Utah's 2nd Congressional District. Unfortunately, since Congressman Matheson couldn't be with us today, he's represented by Pam. And Pam is well known in the Uinta Basin for her interest in the local and regional issues. So please join me in welcoming Pam.
Thank you, Mary. It's a great day. It's good to see everyone. I have the privilege of representing Congressman Jim Matheson today, and a special gift that he wanted to present to the monument ceremonies and to Mary. And I'll just read this certificate and tell you a little bit about what we did. For special occasions, the Congressman has the ability to request a flag be flown over the nation's capital. And I would like to present to you the flag that was flown over the nation's capital on September 21st of this year. So congratulations. And I'll read the certificate. This is to certify that the flag was actually flown over the Capitol on September 21st, 2011, at the request of Honorable Jim Matheson, Member of Congress. This flag was flown from the Monument Director, Mary Rizzer, her staff, and the National Monument dedication for the Dinosaur Quarry. 5 years ago, when I heard that this beautiful site was about to see some upgrades because we had some serious safety issues, we, of course, were concerned for how this would be translated out into the community. And Mary was absolutely one of the most impressive people to work with throughout this process, providing regular updates, letting us know what the progress was along the way, and that the project was coming in on time and under budget. So I think it is to the efforts of the staff and under the direction of Mary and Department of Interior that we were able to have a successful outcome, and here we are enjoying perfect temperatures, thank you, by the way, on a great day 5 years later, and welcoming the world's paleontologists and visitors back to the quarry. So thank you so much, and it is a pleasure to be here.
Okay, to tell you a little bit more about our new building, to prevent the building from moving, the contractor had to drill down into solid rock, and that was an average of 60 feet. And what they did is install 40 micropiles. These micropiles were about 8 inches in diameter. A steel rod went through the center of them, and then they were filled with concrete. Working on one column at a time, I'm talking about those dark brown columns that you see on the building there. They attached the column to a steel frame. They demolished the old foundation. They poured a new foundation which was tied into the micropiles. The 8 columns that are furthest away from us were all within about an inch of each other. But when you start getting to the east end, the second last column was about 4 inches higher, and then the very, very last one was about 8 to 10 inches higher than all the rest. And as soon as they lowered that column, the drain on the roof started working again. So, I'm really pleased to introduce Diane Douglas Iverson, and Mary Douglas Madison are the only grandchildren of Earl Douglas. Earl Douglas was a paleontologist who found the first bones here. And over the years, they've been wonderful, wonderful friends of the monument, and I'm really privileged to have had the opportunity to get to know them. We've asked Diane to tell us a little bit about what this building means to the Douglas family.
Thank you, Mary. It has been almost 100 years since our grandfather began to dream of a wall of bones like you would see behind that building. And he began to dream of a building over it. I see a lot of children here, and I am so excited because before Earl Douglas became a paleontologist, he was a teacher. And his love was teaching others some of the secrets of the earth. Soon after his discovery here in 1909, he realized this was not just a few bones scattered around, but it truly was a burial ground of some amazingly preserved dinosaurs of the Jurassic era. And some of these were really big. And he began a work that he started and lived here and worked here for 14 years. My grandmother, Pearl, also moved here with my father, Gawain, who was just a little boy, not much, he wasn't as big as Stone. He was just a little boy when he moved here, was 18 months old. It was amazing what they did. They lived here in tents in some of the coldest winters Utah has ever seen. So at 30 degrees below, he would get out of his tent and he would walk up to the quarry and would begin with his pick. And he would write in his journal and say, "It wasn't so cold. I had my gloves and my jacket." And I think I would not have been able to do anything like that, nor my son. We're just not that tough. I want to read you just a couple of entries from Earl Douglas's journals. He was a man who wrote in a journal all the time, kids. If your teacher tells you to write in a journal, write in that journal. He wrote in a journal almost 47 years, almost daily, 47 years of his life. And because of that, we have his records. So listen to what he said on August 14th of 1912. These things, these dinosaurs, being big and in large quantities, attract the attention of people and the interest of those who have means necessary for carrying on the work. And it would seem that we are only in the beginning of this great discovery and research. With trained men and money, we might make one of the great exhibits of the world, and perhaps we will be permitted to do it. We may be dreaming, but that's all right. Dreams come before reality. But wouldn't it be great to have a new museum built on museum principles and to have one great hall for dinosaurs? And then on October 29th, 1915, remember when it was signed into a national monument? October what? 4th, today, October 29th, 1915. I have at last written to Dr. Holland, and Dr. Holland was the director of the Carnegie Museum at the time. And I have told him my wishes to stay here. Earl Douglas didn't want to go back to the comforts of Pittsburgh. He wanted to be here in Utah. It is reported in the newspapers that our quarry has been signed to be a national monument. He didn't hear about it from anybody, but he picked up a newspaper and found out. On that same date, he says, "Here's one of the greatest curiosities in the world, a burying ground of huge prehistoric beasts of long distant age. It's a combination of fortunate circumstances. They've been buried, preserved, and again unveiled to us. How appropriate that they or part of them be exposed in relief as they were buried, to show the tragedy of their death and to reveal something of their lives and surroundings. How appropriate to build a fair-sized building over them to protect them, to have this thing, a thing of substantial beauty, modeled after nature. He wanted so badly to teach the rest of the world some of the wonderful things he found from the earth. And then in that same chapter, if you buy one of the books that my father compiled and then we edited, he has a vision of a national monument. And he wrote that down, and that was published in the Vernal Express in 1934 after his death. They figure that he wrote it back in about 1920. So it's pretty cool vision, and I won't take the time to read that. So I want you to realize how important and how significant that wall of dinosaur bones is to us as a family. It was our grandfather's dream. When we were informed, my sister and I, of the closing of the previous building, we were absolutely devastated. And when paleontologist Dan Chury showed us around, I don't think you were supposed to do that day, but you did it anyway, and thank you. It was condemned, but we were, as a family, were shown around, and we said to each other, this will probably never open again. And to us, it was the end of our grandfather's dreams, in all likelihood. How excited we are that today we can look at this magnificent building built exactly the way he would have just loved. And so I want to say thank you. Mary Risser has done an amazing job, and she was the one who had to inform us that the building was going to close, and so she was the bad guy for a while, but when she explained that it was not safe, we understood, but we were still sad. And so today we're excited, and we want to say thank you to all of those who have made it possible. Thank you to those who have worked endless hours and have looked at plans and then wondered if you've made the right decision, and who have done the physical work. I think of the people who vacuumed the rocks and all the different things that happened to make this what it is today. I want to say thank you from the family of Earl Douglas.
Okay, one of the next things that we've done to try to make sure the building doesn't move, if you were here before and you went on the mezzanine, the upper gallery, and you happened to be lucky enough to be there when the school group came through, it was like a roller coaster ride. It was just up and down and up and down. You could feel every movement. The upper floor of the exhibit gallery had actually broken free from its attachments to the cantilever support beams, and it was displaced upwards by as much as 2 inches. So when you go in the building and you're up on that mezzanine, you're going to see that there are cables that are attaching the mezzanine to the roofing system now. So it's not attached to the ground or the foundation anymore. So it won't be susceptible to movement. At least that's what the architects are telling us. I'm really privileged to introduce Dan Chury, Dr. Dan Chury. He's been the park paleontologist for his entire 32-year National Park Service career. And Dan has been as instrumental as anyone in getting this building open and getting the wall of bones protected and working on the exhibit. So, Dan?
When I was asked if I'd like to talk at the ceremonies today about the significance of the quarry, I jumped at the opportunity, and then I was told, and keep it to 5 minutes. So I don't normally read from prepared comments, but to meet my deadline here, I'm going to do so today. Excuse me. 102 years ago, Earl Douglas, a paleontologist from the Carnegie Museum, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, hiked to the top of this very hill where we are gathered today and cast his eyes upon what would become one of the greatest and most famous paleontological discoveries of all time. There were just 8 tailbones of a giant plant-eating dinosaur protruding out of the ground, and Douglas and his crews began excavating and following them down, and almost unbelievably, they ultimately led to a huge deposit of fossils, with the remains of more than 500 individual dinosaurs ultimately being discovered. As one might expect from such a rich treasure trove, there are many, many things that I could talk about in excruciating detail. But given my 5-minute assignment today, rather than going through a long list of scientific details, I want to look at just some of the highlights of the contributions that the Carnegie Museum has made to the science of paleontology. The Carnegie is world-renowned in the scientific community as one of our best windows onto the long-lost world of dinosaurs. It is a remarkable sample of an ancient dinosaur community and the animals that wandered western North America 149 million years ago. 10 species of dinosaurs have been found in this quarry, including Allosaurus, Apatosaurus, Barosaurus, Camarasaurus, Camptosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Diplodocus, Dryosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Torvosaurus. Many of these skeletons that were found here to this day remain the most complete and best preserved skeletons ever found for those species. The quarry is also remarkable for having many juveniles as well as adults preserved and a large number of skulls, which are among the rarest of all dinosaur remains. And all the bones are spectacularly preserved with little crushing or distortion. The quarry is essentially a library of dinosaur bones, and paleontologists regularly use this resource in their scientific research. Included among this are graduate students who find these fossils here critical to their master's theses and PhD dissertations. Fossils from dinosaur are frequently used for comparison in other dinosaur studies all around the world. And some of the fossils here have been crucial in specific studies ranging from feeding mechanics of the giant plant-eating sauropods to insect-caused damage on dinosaur bone before burial, to analyzing the chemical composition of the bone, and unraveling the details of the fossilization process. Geologists have studied the sandstone in which the bones are preserved to map out details of the shape and the features of the river channel, as well as exploring the details of how this great dinosaur accumulation came to be. And collections made during the historic period at Dinosaur have resulted in mounted skeletons that have amazed visitors around the country. 2 years ago, the Carnegie Museum completely redid their Jurassic Dinosaur Hall, and it is heavily populated by skeletons that they've collected here. Major dinosaur skeletons can be seen in the U.S. National Museum that came from here, the University Museum in Lincoln, the Denver Museum of Natural History of Science, and the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. These skeletons that have come from this site have been seen by probably tens of millions of citizens around the country and around the world, and they are not just scientifically important, but they are outstanding ambassadors for Dinosaur National Monument. In addition to its purely scientific aspects, the quarry has also played important roles in public education and resource management. So here, for the first time anywhere, dinosaur fossils have been exposed and left in place for the public to see, just as they were discovered and how they came to rest on the bottom of a long ancient river. Today, one can see over 1,500 of these bones, essentially a museum collection left in the wild. And this approach has proved immensely successful not only with the public, but also with the scientific community. And coming here is a pilgrimage for many geological classes doing summer field work in the western U.S. And of course, imitation is the greatest compliment you can receive, and many other sites have followed Dinosaur's approach of preserving fossils in place, such as the Cleveland Lloyd Quarry in Utah, the Berlin Ichthyosaur State Park in Nevada, Mammoth Site in South Dakota, Dinosaur State Park in Connecticut, the Lark Quarry in Australia, the Zhejiang Dinosaur Museum in Sichuan, China, and on and on. All of these sites are also, in a very real sense, part of the scientific legacy of Dinosaur. The monument was established in 1915 to protect this huge deposit, and the quarry remains the heart and soul of Dinosaur. Although originally just 80 acres in size, the monument has been expanded several times to its present size and shape. And included in these expansions are additional outcrops of rocks from the age of Dinosaur, which have also turned out to be of great paleontological significance. So during the summer just passed, even with this building and its huge accumulation of dinosaur bones closed, inaccessible, we had crews and researchers working at Dinosaur from the University of Utah, BYU, the University of Nebraska at Omaha, Harvard University, and the American Museum of Natural History. And this is a testament to the vitality and activity of the paleontological program at Dinosaur and the resources, the importance of our resources to the scientific community. So for those of you who have not yet been in the building, in a few minutes when you step into the refurbished and reconstructed Quarry exhibit hall, you'll be amongst the first group of people to see these bones in the last 5 years. What is in the Quarry exhibit hall is a tribute to the vision and the hard work of many people. And these include Earl Douglas, Pop Kay and their many field crews, A.C. Boyle and many people who worked in the work project administration work that went on here in the 30s, Dr. Ted White, Russ King, Scott Matson, Ann Elder, Frank McKnight, and especially 2 individuals who had exposed probably in excess of 80% of the bones that you can now see in the Quarry face. And these are Tobe Wilkins and James Adams. And these people deserve our heartfelt thanks, and I would ask you to all join me in giving them a round of applause. Any questions?
When you go in the building, make sure that you take a look at the floor. Now, you don't always hear that, take a look at the floor. But the floor is made up of interlocking pavers. And the whole idea was that if the building floor did start moving, was thrust up, we can take the pavers out and either put more sand in, take some sand out, put the pavers back on, and we'll have a flat floor again. So check out the pavers. I'm really honored to introduce my boss, Laura Joss. Laura is a Deputy Regional Director for the Intermountain Region. The Intermountain Region goes all the way from Glacier National Park up on the Canadian border down to Padre Islands on the Mexican border. So, and then also everything in between, including Dinosaur. So, Laura?
Thank you, Superintendent Risser. Governor Herbert, distinguished guests, park colleagues and friends and family. I'm glad to say my father is here with my daughter and my husband is here. We're making this a family event. This is a remarkable day for Dinosaur National Monument, and Regional Director Wessels and National Park Service Director John Jarvis send their congratulations on the celebration of Dinosaur's 96th birthday and the grand opening of the Quarry exhibit hall. It's been 5 long years, and I'm thrilled to see the wall with its 1,500 dinosaur bones again. During this project, which was designed and constructed using sustainable technologies and primarily funded by the American Recovery Reinvestment Act, or ARA, we had great contractors who were overseen by excellent project managers by the Denver Service Center, thanks to those folks who are here today. And every week, as Pam was reflecting, Superintendent Risser would forward the contractors' updates with photos to us about the progress of the project. And any questions we had, she would immediately answer them. She was personally engaged throughout the progress of the project, both on the Quarry Exhibit Hall and the Quarry Visitor Center. And together those projects were estimated to cost $13 million, and they came in under budget at about $9 million. Mary did all that in addition to her oversight of a complex and busy, very busy park operation here at Dinosaur. And she should also be proud of the park's unblemished 2-year safety record. So I'd like to call Mary back up. I didn't tell her I was doing this. I want to present her with a recognition of all her excellent work. This is an award designed by our regional director And it has the NPS Sequoia pine cone on the front, and it's to recognize Mary for her outstanding work and appreciation from the regional office. Thank you, Mary. So thank you to Mary, the park staff, the contractors, partners, and all the community leaders for helping make this day possible. We're very proud of the park and what they have accomplished. And it's because of all of you that Dinosaur National Monument is better positioned than ever before to interpret, conserve, and protect these remarkable paleontological resources. Thank you.
There's a group of people I'd like to recognize, and Laura already mentioned them. It's our folks from Denver, our friends in Denver. If you put in for line item construction projects, this is an incredibly long, horrible process. And these guys really held my hand through the whole thing. And we have a bunch of folks back here from our Denver Service Center. And I want to thank you guys. We had to fill out for a visitor center, a new visitor center, we have to fill out a model. The idea is to keep it an appropriate size. When you're filling out a model for a visitor center, the model does not understand that you have 150 feet long wall that's 50 feet high and contains 1,500 bones. It just didn't compute. And I don't know how they did it, but somehow the Denver Intermountain region got it to accept the fact that we have this building here and that's the exhibit, and we can't make the exhibit any smaller. So anyway, thanks to all you guys for your help throughout this whole process. I appreciate it. I'm really pleased to introduce Darlene Burns again. Darlene is the chair of the Uinta County Commission.
In behalf of the commissioners of Uinta County and everyone gathered here, first we want to express our heartfelt sympathy to our governor and his family at the passing of Governor Herbert's dear mother. Our thoughts and love and sympathy are with you at this time. We're indeed honored that he would take the time in his busy schedule and his family's schedule to be with us today in this historic October 4th, 2011. Historic for our county, for the state, and for the whole nation, because this is a very unique wall of bones, and we're expecting many visitors from all over the world to come and view it. Gary Herbert met his wife, Jeanette, while attending Brigham Young University. Shortly after their marriage, he joined the Utah National Guard and served in it for 6 years. After his military service, he founded Herbert and Associates Realtors. He and his wife also began a child care service, the Kids Connection, which they operated for 23 years. The Herberts have 6 children and 13 grandchildren. Gary Herbert served as a Utah County Commissioner for 14 years and 5 years as the state's lieutenant governor before being elected as governor. Under Governor Herbert's leadership, Utah has been recognized as one of the best managed states, the most fiscally fit state. Utah has been declared the best state for business and careers by Forbes magazine. The governor currently serves as the chair of the Economic Development and Commerce Committee of the National Governors Association. And so after waiting 149 million years, without any further ado, I am pleased to introduce you to the 17th governor of the great state of Utah, the Honorable Gary Herbert.
Well, thank you very much. I'm honored to be here with all of you, and and on behalf of my mother, she would have said being here brings a whole new meaning to what she's always referred to her old bones. And I know that it's, I think, amazing as we think about it that we're all here gathered together today to look at old bones. And I think Diane's book, from your father's diary, is titled, if I read it right here, "Speak to the Earth and it will teach you." And I think we're here, in fact, in many ways to do that as we look at history to help us as we go towards the future. And I think that's good counsel for all of us. And as the tribal elder, Clifford Duncan, in his prayer, talked about the supreme intelligence. And we see here the beginning of the supreme intelligence and his work with us, I think is profound. And again, as we speak to the earth, we can learn and help us as we go forward. So I think it's more than just about old bones. It's about concepts and principles and attitude. It's been mentioned already, and I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but it bears repeating. This wouldn't happen today without the work of many people in a spirit of collaboration and cooperation making it happen. There's a lot of accolades and thank yous and attaboys to go around. A lot of people that are here, a lot of people that are not here. Those who've gone before us that have provided this opportunity. Earl Douglas, who was here originally and made this great discovery, which has now blossomed into a very significant spot for people to come here for a variety of purposes and reflect and hopefully be inspired and motivated to improve their own lives. Some of it just in a recreational way, some of it in an intellectual way. But opportunity for all of us, in fact, to be renewed and reinvigorated towards helping each other. So I appreciate the fact that we're here today, and it's taken 149 million years, this event, in its making. And it is a significant event. And thanks to all those who've made it possible. I've been here before, and again, the wall of bones is impressive. And you see those bones, and you wonder what it was like, and you kind of contemplate what the atmosphere was 150 million years ago. But as you look at the dinosaurs, and again, the Allosaurus dinosaur is now our state fossil. And it's kind of a ferocious-looking animal, and fairly big, a meat eater. Large skull with large, sharp teeth, 28 feet in height, maybe 39 feet long. It's the top of the food chain of its day. And again, I think an opportunity for us to think back and of what life was like, back in that day. I do note that more Allosaurus have been found in Utah than anywhere else, and that's why, in part, it's our state fossil. This new quarry is a great place for people to examine and explore and look up close about this fascinating world that I think we all have some, intrigue about. I remember as a young person in elementary school going to the encyclopedia, and the one that was used the most, they all were alphabetical order, A through Z, but the one that was used the most was the Encyclopedia D. And that was because the young people and the class always liked to pull out the D and look up dinosaur and look at all these different renderings of the dinosaurs that roamed the earth in ancient times. There's always been a fascination, I think, and our love for dinosaurs is certainly not anything new. And I believe that paleontologists around the world have an opportunity to come here and observe this quarry and to learn and to participate in their profession, as we have numerous dinosaurs in this area of Utah and western Colorado. I do appreciate the fact that back in 1915 that President Woodrow Wilson declared this a dinosaur national monument designed to preserve and protect this area, so that we had this opportunity of discovery and of learning, and an opportunity to preserve some of these great bones. And in anticipation of that, the thought was this will be a great tourism spot, that people will come here from all over the world to visit and Dinosaur National Monument. And the great city of Vernal, in anticipation of that, and the deluge of visitors that were going to come, took out all the old hitching posts on Main Street and replaced them with 40 different street lights in order to improve the appearance of Vernal and to be a little more welcoming to all these tourists that would come. And sure enough, the old adage, build it, they will come, took place. That first year, just a little under 11,000 visitors came in 1915 to see this new exhibit here. And even as we've had the challenges with the structure here before, up to 2005, we've had between 300 and 400,000 annual visitors that come here to participate in this great facility here. And when you think about it, it's not like we're right on the beaten path. We don't have a lot of interstates that come through here. It shows that people really like coming to this area to participate in kind of the solitude and the peaceful tranquility that's here. Look at historical artifacts that have taken place here at these dinosaur bones and commune with Mother Nature and see what the great intelligence can say to us. So I appreciate the fact that this really is a tourism effort here also, and the effort that's been put together to construct this truly unique and beautiful facility here for all of us to enjoy. Now I have no doubt, and we have Lee Vonderesh here from our Tourism Travel Director here, who her job is to make sure that tourism and travel continues to grow and increase. As a lot of you know, my focus has been grow the economy. I think it's the number one focus of every elected official, at least it should be. Providing economic opportunity for individuals and families to have jobs. And we do a lot of that effort here in Utah, and that's why, as been mentioned by Darlene, that we've been recognized as one of the best places in America to do business. It's not by chance, it's by design. We have a great business-friendly environment. Well, part of growing the economy, though, is to take advantage of our natural assets. And one of our natural assets, of course, is our beautiful vistas and venues. And so tourism is a big part of that effort here in the state of Utah. And even as we've gone through what is one of the more difficult times in our country's history economically, the worst since the Great Depression, in fact, we now refer to it as the Great Recession, our tourism has been solid here in the state of Utah, and in some of our national parks has actually even grown through the Great Recession. So I expect great and wonderful things will happen here in this area with tourism and travel and opportunities for people to come and visit. But I'd also like to say that I think the basin is a great example of Utah and how we do things. It's mentioned that we have been physically fit. We're the physically fittest state in America. We're growing economically at 3 times the national average right now. But what we just were named here just about 3 to 4 weeks ago, we were named by a national corporate relocation magazine as the state that has the best quality of life in America. Now, I'm a proud American. I appreciate those who serve the military to defend our rights and freedoms. I think America's a great place to be. But somebody outside of our borders has said, Utah, they have the best quality of life in America. And it's because we have great people like yourselves that make things like this happen, that care about each other. We're also number 1 in volunteerism in this country, which means that we care about our neighbors and do things to help without thought of compensation. It's also the fact that we've proven here in this great basin that we can in fact preserve and protect these beautiful things of nature and yet have natural resource development take place also. We approach it in a very, I think, wise and balanced approach where we show that we can be good stewards of the earth at the same time. The benefit of these ancient dinosaurs and ancient history has given us the opportunity to have oil and natural gas, which makes our lives better today. So there is a connection that we have today with those that were here 150 or 60 million years ago that make our life better today. And there ought to be an appreciation and a reverence for that as we go forward and show that we can in fact be good stewards of the earth and have a good balance as we approach our economic development efforts here in the state of Utah. And you here in the basin are proving that we can do that. Last, but let me just say this. Again, I think it is extremely great and wonderful for us today to have the high school young people here exhibiting their great talents in music, participating here today, making this a little extra special because of their being here. They are, in fact, the rising generation. We're going to turn it all over to them in just a few short years, good, bad, or ugly. They're looking forward to it. I know they got that energy there, the naivety that comes with youth. And the question is going to be for all of them and for us, are they ready? We have a responsibility to prepare them, to give them opportunity to take over. They have a responsibility to be ready to take over. And I think we see a significant connection here today with the old bones and the new bones. And for them to take over, I think I look at them. I have a great opportunity as governor to get around the state and visit with a lot of young people. And I'm here to tell you, I am very optimistic about Utah's future. I've never been more optimistic about Utah's future. And in large part, it's because of the young people we have that are going to step up and raise the bar and do even greater and more wonderful things than the current generation. So again, being here today as we kind of combine everything together here in connection with old and new, and those of us kind of in the middle, it's a great day for Utah. It's a great day for America. And this new quarry opening and here this rededication of the Dinosaur National Monument is a part of the legacy we're leaving for the rising generation, for those that come after. I'm sure Earl Douglas had no idea what he was going to provide for the world when he first stumbled upon this place and discovered these bones and provided opportunity, impetus for us to have this monument here today. I would say we probably don't know the impact that we are going to leave. But I know that we will leave an impact and an impression and a footprint for those who come after us. Our challenge is to make sure that we do it in a way that when our ancestors come and talk about us, they say in glowing terms, we are grateful for those who have gone before. The shoulders we stand on here make life better for us and for the rising generation to come. I'm honored to be with you today. Thank you so very much.
Before we go on with the ribbon cutting ceremony, how about if we hear from these young bones again, and they're going to do America the Beautiful for us.
So beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes in liberating strife, who north and south their country blue and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine, divine. Oh, grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. America, America, shed His grace on thee.
The quarry is a draw for visitors coming into this area from all across the world. You know, we've had peak visitation here at the monument over 400,000, almost up to 500,000 people. Since it's been closed, we've been to just about 150,000, so that's been a significant amount of visitors who haven't come into the area. And of course, those visitors, if they're not coming in, aren't spending money on restaurants, in hotels and things. So just the economic stimulus that having something like this open can bring to an area can be quite significant. So we're hoping that, again, people will learn that we're reopened and will come back. So. There is both sort of a sense, I think, for opening the quarry back up, elation, and also, you know, some satisfaction that seeing that this project has finally come to this culmination and it's open for visitors again. I think that, you know, just my chance to be able to go inside and watch people, their kind of amazement when they see the walls, for me is, you know, that's really why I do the job that I do and why we help try to protect parks, is so people have that chance to experience it.